Okay, welcome back. So we are on the final stages of our course, and on the final step is that we are going to discuss how we can deal with images. So remember, we are creating a car dealership website. So this website should have an image, so we need to have the images of the car. So now I'm going to show you how we can deal with images. So with images, we are going to make some few modification to our code, and mainly we're going to make some modification to our settings.py. We are going to make some modification to our URLs and to our code also. So by starting, let us go to our models.py. We need first to add the model field to our database. So let's go to models.py. Remember, we commented this. Now it's time to uncomment this. Now we need to add image. Let's say equals to models. It's models dot image. Of course, it's models dot image field. Okay, so we need to save this. After saving this, as you can see that listing image cannot use image field because Piro is not installed. So we need to install Piro, and you know how to install Piro is that you need to just write pip install Piro, and then Piro should be installed and everything should work. So it's time to install our Piro. So let us install Piro to resolve the issue. So just write pip install Piro. Okay, and press enter. Okay, so Piro is installed. Now it's time to go back to our code and start making some few changes. As you remember, if you add any field to your models, you need to make migrations. So we have added an image field, so we need to make migrations. So you know that to make migration we need to write python manage.py, then make migrations without space. Python manage.py make migrations, press enter. Okay, so this is telling us that provide one default. Now because we're having this error, actually it's not an error because that we have the fields which don't have an image, and then we need to specify, we need to tell our Django that for the listings we have, what the image is going to be treated, because we have some fields which we don't have images, and now we want to add an image, so we need to specify what to put to this listing which we had earlier. So we need to select of course we can decide to add manually, because as here you can say maybe default, maybe you can say default equals to maybe a space, but for us we're going to select option number 1, which we're going to add just a blank string for us. So let's select option number 1, and then so for us let us just put an empty string. Okay, and let us press enter. Okay, now it's going to ask us for this migration. So of course it's got an image. Now after writing python manage.py make migrations, the next thing is to migrate. Now we write python manage.py, then migrate. So make migration, then we need to migrate. Okay, our migration is done. Now the image field is added to our database. So once an image field has been added to our database, remember we had a form here. So this form didn't have the image. Now we need to add here that someone may be able to add an image. So we need to add an image here also. Remember, this is from our model. As you can see, our model, we have image, and then on our forms we need to have image also. Let's save this. Now if we let us just try to run our server and see what we have on our form. So python manage.py run server. This is how you run your server. Okay, our server is running. Okay, if we go to our listing here and let us go to, of course, let's go here, let's go to just a home page, and then if we try to add a new listing, you can see that we have an image field here. So this is from our form and it is reflected to our database. So we have an image field here, but if you try to upload an image here, the image is not going to be uploaded because we have some settings we need to make so that our image can be successful uploaded. Now let's go back to our code. If we go back to our code here, let's go to our, first of all, let's go to our settings.py. Settings, where is our settings? Car dealership, and then it is settings.py. Now here we need to tell Django that if we upload a particular media, a particular image should be kept on to which folder. Now if you come down here, you can see you have your static URL, so we need to add the media URL also. So media then underscore URL. This should be equal to media, so it should be kept to media. Okay, so our URL should end with a slash, so media URL should be the media, and then we need to have the media root, so it's media underscore root should be equal to media. Okay, now as you can see that, so to apply the images, so our image should be kept to the media folder, and then to access our image we need to have the media URL, which is the media URL. Now we are done with our settings. Let's save this. Now let's go back to our, of course we need to configure our URLs, and then we are going to configure our views. So let's start with our URLs. So let's go to listing, then urls.py. So if we come up here, you will see that from Django.urls import path, of course, is true. Now we need to import settings, so we need to, so from Django.conf, then we need to import these settings. We need to import the settings. Okay, also we need to import the static URL. So from Django.conf, then .urls .static. So from Django.conf.urls.static we need to import what we call static See, of course, you don't need to claim this. You can just go to the documentation, you just copy this, and then you are good to go. But it should be like this. Okay. Now down here, we just need to write a small settings, so a small logic. So we write if settings dot debug. So we say if settings dot debug, then this is what we need to do. So URL patterns should be equal to, of course, you remember this plus equal to, then static, and then it should be settings dot, we have to configure our media URL, so should be media underscore URL, and then so URL patterns static settings dot media URLs, then we should, the document have a document underscore root, so it should be equal to settings dot media underscore root. So this is the simple logic we have to write, that whatever we have to access our media URL should go here, and our image should be kept to our media root. It's so simple. So you can just go to the Django documentation and you'll see how this is applicable with different examples. So for the case of this tutorial, let us just know that if you want to have some images to our forms, this is how we can configure our settings. So let's just see that if everything is good to go, document root the settings dot media underscore root. So let us save this. Okay, looks like everything is fine. Now because we have this, we need to go to here. So inside here we need to have this particular folder where we are going to be uploading our media. Of course, you can just leave it blank, so once you upload the file, the folder will be created automatically. But for us, let us just go ahead and create the folder here. Yeah, of course, we just need to create the folder here, and let us call this folder media. And then okay, now we have the media folder here because we specified to our settings.py that our media root should be inside the media folder. Now once this is done, we need to go and modify our functions. So our function, also we are going to modify our forms to our templates. So let's go to our function first. So inside our functions, let's go to views.py here. So inside our functions, we need to make some few modifications. So first of all, we are going to start with our form, the form which we are going to create, and the form which we are going to update our listing. Okay, so for the case of creating a listing, let's just go to our create function. Of course, it is here. Now we need to make a few modifications to our post request. So if request.method equals to post, we need to add a request here which is called the request.files. So we need to add this that we can have the access to the files. So if we get the post, remember the post, if someone fills the information, we need also to get the request. We need also to get the request dot files. Okay, so we get the information. We also need to get the files, the particular image file. We save this. Also, let us go to the update. Okay, also for the update, as you remember, we have here that form equals to listing form request.post, and then we get that particular instance. Then we also need to get the required file. Now we need to add a comma here. We say that files, so the particular files should be equal to request. Where am I writing this? Should be equal to request dot files. Okay, so this is good. So also we need to, okay, now we are done here. Let us save this to see that if everything is okay. Yeah, and everything looks fine. Now it's time to make some few modifications to our templates. So let us go to the listing.html. Of course not here. Let's go to our, where is our form? So the create form here. Okay, the create form here. So on the create form, we need to make some few modifications. So this form method here, we need to add this particular parameter here, which is called enc. It's called enc. It's encryption type, enc type. This should be equal to, of course, should be equal to matpart. It should be equal to mult. Of course, some mistake here. Mult should be multipart, then slash form data. Okay, so in order to deal with the image, we need to add this one here. So we need to specify the enc type. This should be multipart, then form data. Okay, we need to also do this to the update. So Control C here, and let us first save this. After saving, let's go to our update. Also, we need to pass it here. So this also enc type should be equal to matpart form data. Now we have updated our informations. Let's just cancel the saver and run the save again. Remember to cancel the saver, Control C, and then the arrow up to repeat the previous command. Now everything is fine. Now let us try to add our image. Okay, of course, as you can notice that we are going to add an image, but on our form, our view, we haven't specified where we are going to access our particular image. But for now, let us add a new car here. Let us call it Premiere, and let us new Premiere, and let us say the brand is Toyota, and let us mileage like 12, price like 3,000, and let us choose an image. Of course, let's say where we can get an image, good image of a car. Let us say we have cars here, the Premiere. I don't know the picture for Premiere. Let's say this one here, and let us upload it here, and then let us submit. Okay, Premiere is added, and then we have earlier. What happened if we click to Premiere here? Let's click here. Boom, we had the Premiere here, we have the price, we have the delete, we have the update, but we don't have the image here. As you note that we need to make some few modification also to our detail view page. So let us go and try to have the image here. Okay, so how do we have the image here? So let us go to our listing.html, and then first of all, before we make some modification, let us see if we have the image to our media folder. If we go to media here, you can see we have the image here. So that means our image is uploaded to a specific folder which we wanted. So if we click here, we have this image here. Now this is good. We just need to display this image to our browser. Now here it's just simple. We just need to add another image here. Image, you remember, as you know, on HTML, to add an image you have to write img, you close the tag, and then img, close the tag, and then of course we should be ending here. Now inside here we need to specify the source of the image. So src, we say equals to, where do we get our image? Now to have our image, we need to put these two and these two, and then we need to say, remember on our form we passed the listing, so we need to say listing. So we need to say listing. We need to say listing dot, you use the dot operator, so dot image. So image, this is from our database, and then we should specify the URL, so dot image dot URL. So we should get the particular image from here. Okay, now let us save this. If we save this, let us try to refresh again. If you see, you can have our image here. If we refresh, good, we have our image here. Now as you can see, the image is too big so that you can't even see our delete and our update button. We just need to make some few modification here. We can just say that, let us give this image, let's just give this image the width. Okay, let's just give it the width of let's say 400. Okay, and let us give it height. Let's say the height, let's give it equal to 200. Okay, now let's say height equals to 200 and the width equal to 400. Let's save this and let us refresh again. Okay, now good, we have the name of the car, which is Premiere, we have the price, and then we have the image here, and we have the delete, we have the update. If we want to update here, we can update. We can say, let's say maybe Premiere let's say premium car, just to see the name, and then mileage, let us add it to maybe 14, and the price, then let us change the image. Let's look for another image. Let's say this image here. If we add it here and let us submit, the car is updated, and then you can see the name is Premium Car. If we press here, we have this image here. Of course, you can find a good way to put your images. Let's say maybe we should modify a little bit about the height, maybe 300. Let's save this. Okay, if we refresh it here, a little bit good. Okay, now as you can see that we have the delete. We can decide to delete it, we can update it. We are able to update, and then if we go to our listing, our home listing here, you can see we have all the cars here. We can add a new listing, for example for the Range Rover. Well, of course we don't have any image here. We can decide to update the car, and then you can choose the image here. Of course this is not a Range Rover, it's Harrier. That's updated. If we submit here, we have the Range Rover here. If we click, we have the particular image here. So this is how you can create. Of course there are a lot of things to do here. You can just try to customize them. You can add some CSS. You can add a lot of things to make this website so beautiful, like the ones we saw on the cars.com. But for the scope of this tutorial is just to show you how we can create a car dealership website just by using a simple HTML and using Django. So far so good. We have implemented the CRUD concept, that we create a car, we list the detail view, we updated, and we are able to delete our particular car, and then we saw how we can deal with images, how we can deal with the image settings. And so far so good for now. This is just like an end for this tutorial. So if you are so interested in this, we can just try to go ahead and add a new template here. We can customize it for CSS and add some bootstrap so that our website can be so good but for this is just the backend. And if you are a front-end developer, this is your time to customize this. But so far so good. This is how it is done. Again, I'm just reminding you, so if you've come this so far, please consider subscribing to our channel. We are doing a lot of work to make this channel survive. So we want to reach 1,000 subscribers. We have shortage of subscribers. Please help us do so just by subscribing to our channel, liking and sharing our content. So until another day, until another video, hope to see you again on this channel. Thank you and bye bye.